Thank you. Okay, so our agenda right now is the public hearing. And I'd like to start off with the Aboriginal Acknowledgement. We would like to acknowledge the land of which we are gathered is the traditional territory of the Tanaha, the Silix, and the Sinex peoples. It's home to Métis and many diverse Aboriginal persons. We honor their connection to the land and rivers and respect the importance of the environment to our strength as a community. Okay, first thing up on the agenda is that I'm declaring this public hearing open, and the public hearing is being convened pursuant to Section 464 of the Local Government Act to consider an amendment to Zoning Bylaw 3199/2013. The proposed zoning amendment number 3521/2021 proposes to increase the current cap of 2 cannabis retail stores in the downtown to 3 by reallocating the permit space on Nelson Avenue to the downtown, thereby maintaining a citywide cap of 5 retail stores. Due to COVID-19 public health order and the ministerial order M192, this public hearing will take place via video conference and will be live streamed on the City of Nelson's website. No in-person attendance is permitted. Comments are accepted at City Hall by email and regular mail have been accepted until March the 8th at 12 noon. Registration was required to speak live to the proposed zoning amendment number 3521/2021. There were no registrants. Members of council may, if they so wish, ask questions following the presentation. Please note that the main function of council members this evening is to listen to the views of the public, if there are any. Please remember that it's not the function of council at this hearing to debate the merits of the proposed bylaw with individual citizens or any other. Thank you for your patience and cooperation. Now let's proceed with the hearing. Okay. And we move on to the next piece, and that's the zoning amendment bylaw 3521/2021 for Buddy's Place. And the zoning amendment bylaw number 3521/2021 was introduced to the City of Nelson Council on February 9th and received first and second reading at that time. The public hearing is now being convened pursuant to Section 464 of the Local Government Act to consider amendment to the bylaw referenced above. Okay, do we need a questions to the staff? Or are we okay to move forward with the motion from council too? No motion required?
No, there should be another sheet.
Yeah, I got another sheet here. Just this one here. Yep. So on that note, folks, I have another sheet here, and I have to invite staff to explain the application if they so feel inclined. And the questions are, the proponent is not present, I understand, to make a presentation. Is that right? Alex?
Correct.
Okay.
The proponent is not present here tonight,
Okay.
and I think that's due to the fact that we don't have any public presenters here either.
Okay. And are there any further correspondence received after the agenda deadline?
No, none at all.
Nothing, okay. And there were no members of the public that registered to speak, right?
No, Mayor.
Right, Sarah? Yeah. Okay, so any questions from council to staff? So it's my obligation at this point to ask 3 times. Are there any further questions? That's number 2. Are there any further questions? It's number 3. I declare this public hearing closed. Thank you. That's the first one out of the way. We move into the second one, which is 321. 921. 21. That was 2. So it's 1, 2, yeah. So the next one, folks, is the very same protocol, and it's it's being convened for 464, the Local Government Act, to consider the amendment to zoning bylaw 3199/2013 for proposed amendment 3512, 2021. The purpose proposes a number of housekeeping and general citywide amendments, including removing the maximum gross floor area restriction for laneway houses, proportion of industrial scale computing, and permitting a secondary suite within a laneway house. And once again, due to the COVID-19 public health order, the Minister Order M192, this public hearing will take place via video conference and will be live streamed on the City of Nelson's website. No person in attendance is permitted to comment where accepted at the city. No in-person attendance is permitted. Comments were accepted at the City Hall by email and regular mail until March the 8th at 12 noon. Registration was required to speak live to the proposed zoning amendment number 3512/2021, and there was nobody registered to do that. Members of council may, if they so wish, ask questions following presentations. Please note that the main function of council members this evening is to listen to the views of the public. Please remember that it is not the function of council at this meeting to hear or to debate the merits of the proposed bylaw with individual citizens or with each other. Thank you for your patience and cooperation, and now let's proceed with the public hearing. And at this point, I'll be asking once again to staff the proponent is not present and to make any presentation, is that right?
That is correct. This is a staff-initiated bylaw amendment, so there is no applicant in this case. Yeah.
Thank you. And were there any further correspondence received after the deadline of the agenda?
No, Mayor.
No members of the public registered to speak, is that right?
No.
Okay, thanks, Alex. And are there any further questions of staff from council? Hearing none, I'm going to ask 3 times. I'm going to make the statement of, I now declare this public hearing closed. Councillor
Sorry,
Morrison?
can I ask a question of staff? Sorry.
Okay.
So can I just through the chair to staff, so I can build my laneway house and it can have a suite in it.
Alex?
Correct. Yeah, sorry, it just took a minute to hit the unmute button there, as we all know. The correct, if the lot density already allows it, so if your lot is already large enough, that would allow for 3 units and there isn't a suite in the primary house, this would give you the option of placing the suite in the laneway house, or of course still in the primary house.
Okay, and follow up if I may, Chair.
Yes, you may.
So my other question is that I read reference to a comment in the report of basement. So is my laneway house allowed to have 2 stories and potentially a full basement?
Correct.
And I can, so I can have a full basement and 2 stories.
Correct.
So,
And what's my maximum height?
The maximum height is 5.8 meters or 6.1 meters for an above garage suite.
Okay. 5.1. Can I actually get 2 stories into 5.1 meters?
5.8 meters, yes.
5.8 meters.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
okay, so just to be clear, you can have 2 floors on your laneway house with a suite below. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. Or it could be, we haven't actually seen an application yet for a laneway house that has a basement. So it could also simply be 2 levels, slab on grade, with one level being a suite and the other level being essentially another suite.
Okay.
2 separate dwellings in one building.
Councillor Morrison, I know what you're going to ask here. Go ahead.
So the subsequent to that is, so it's this water. It's the way we charge for water and sewer, because like these laneway houses, because they're attached to the primary house, are we then charging 3 water and sewer bills if I've got the house, the laneway house, and the suite? I mean, I read stuff about the fire code. I mean, that makes sense. You put the fire extinguishers in and you get the whatever, but what are we doing with the water and the sewer in that? Can you just work it out for me?
Yeah, they're all separately charged. So there's the full rate that's charged, approximately $1,200 per year for the primary dwelling unit, and then the secondary suite and the laneway house charges are the same, which are, I think, right now roughly $330 or so per year. So that's if you have a suite and a laneway house, you times that by 2. So it's that $330 charge approximately per accessory dwelling unit.
Yeah. So that's the
discount that
25%.
yeah. The council approved to kind of get this housing stock sort of improved. So they've lowered that by 75% of the regular fee. And as Mr. Toom speaking there, there is the discount, so it's almost just around $1,000. So just remember that too. So pay on time, March 15th, and you get the discount.
Okay, so just to be clear now, for anyone that's from the public that happens to be watching, Alex, you're saying in a laneway house you can have a suite in the basement, but you can have 2 floors on a laneway house to a maximum height.
Correct. Exactly.
So
Yeah.
are you classifying the basement then as the first floor or the actual basement?
It would be, yeah. So the height measurements work the same whether it's a primary house or a laneway house. So it's just that the difference is that the maximum height for the laneway house is just a little bit more than half of the size, half the height permitted for a primary house. So it's measured from finished grade, average finished grade of all corners of the house up to the highest peak of the house. So with the 5.8 meter height allowance for a laneway house, the maximum you're going to be able to squeeze out of that above grade is 2 stories. And it would be certainly possible to do basement. We haven't yet had an application, as I said. No one has been interested in doing a basement on a laneway house, but that would be possible as long as everything fits within that maximum height.
Yeah,
And
there
there's
is
also a maximum size too, right, Mr. Toom?
Sorry?
Sorry, I heard a few voices at once there.
Just again, too, the mayor gets concerned, but I think part of it is you're also still going to be bound by the maximum square footage that you're allowed. So.
Correct. There's a maximum. The laneway house sizes then, so going forth, if this bylaw amendment is adopted, would continue to be constrained by the maximum height as well as the maximum footprint. So if your building is tall as, if you're building 2 stories, if you're as tall as even 5 meters, let alone 5.8 meters, the maximum building footprint you're getting is 65 square meters or 700 square feet. So if the maximum size you could get would be the 700 square foot building footprint with 2 levels, maximum above grade, and then potentially a basement under that.
Okay, so 700 between 2 floors or total on each floor?
Between 700 building footprint, so 1,400 square feet.
Right.
Of floor area between the 2 levels.
Yeah,
Because basements don't count as square footage.
So now I want to go back, Alex. I just want to be clear, and I want the public to be clear. So you and I both know the topography in the city of Nelson. So you could easily have a daylight basement, but the maximum square footage would disallow you using that 3rd level. Is that what you're saying?
No, that's not quite accurate. So we would be continuing then to regulate the building footprint and the height. The height constrains you, of course, on any lot, and that's because it's a measurement of the average grade. So the grade at all 4 corners, let's say if you have a box house going up to the highest point of the roof. So it's, of course, it's always, constrained by topography, but the maximum height, wouldn't allow you to get it 3 stories above grade, even on a slope level.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Kevin?
I think just one other clarification. You still have to meet lot coverage, right?
Right.
Correct.
So we're still lot coverage is still going to dictate what you can't have, a 700 square foot laneway house and a maximum size, house. This really is going to work for people that have, they don't have, they have a smaller house on that property or they have a larger property. But this isn't the normal person that has, has a garage and has, a house and can now put a laneway house in addition to all that. They need to have that lot coverage to be able to, or lot uncoverage to be able to do this.
Yeah, good point, Kevin. Yeah, thank you. Okay, any further questions for Alex or Kevin or Colin? Hearing none, I'll repeat twice then. I now declare this public hearing closed. I now declare this public hearing closed. Thank you, and we adjourn.
Alex, while you're still here,
Yes.
I don't know if you have, or we have informed council that you have some exciting new plans, and maybe you want to
Yes,
kick
I
it off?
don't think, unless maybe some councillors are monitoring the city Facebook page and saw that there's a posting for a planning position up. But my last day at work will be April 27th. So I announced that a few weeks ago, definitely since the last council meeting. My partner and I have decided we're going to leave Nelson, and we're going to first go across the country, go stay with some family for a bit, and we're going to, as sort of COVID evolves too, of course, sort of do some slow travel and have some experience, woofing here and there, and see where life brings us. So we're going to sort of en route for a little bit and see where the winds take us. Wow, I'll be missing you guys as well too. It's been a great experience. It's been really nice working here and working with all of you.
Sure.
Are you going to take
Thank
that?
you, Alex.
Are you going to take that car share Subaru with you, or are you?
Oh, the car share is buying it.
Yeah, you're going to buy it.
we just worked that out today, actually. So yeah, the Subaru is staying behind.
Throw the canoe.
Taking the downtown parking strategy on a road tour.
Take the kayak on the roof and away you go, right?
Exactly.
All right, Alex. Thank you very much.
All right. See you in half an hour. A bit more.
Okay.
Sorry.
Have fun.